you hit go? It's not doing anything.
It says we are live.
Why is there no video?
Let us know if you can hear us,
See us?
see us, and hear us. And
There it goes.
okay.
It's a little lag. It's a little laggy.
So this is our first live stream we've done. So bear with us. We're gonna try to do this, answer you guys' questions. People's been asking us for a live stream style of question answer. So this is our first live
I should
stream.
turn that
Oops,
down.
Brooke needs to turn down her phone.
There.
Hopefully everybody can hear us, and we're trying to use one of our microphones to help us. We'll be looking off to this side over here to look at the comments and like that. So hopefully it don't distract us too much, because it actually we can see ourselves over there. So we'll try this to see how this goes. So like I said, if you have any questions, let us know. Or that's what we're here tonight for. We're gonna try to do about a half hour or so. Like I said, it's our first time. Might have some glitches and like that, but let us know.
Earlier, someone asked how they could, if their fair weather was almost to weight, but not quite there, and they wanted to know how they could put weight on their weather. You just always have to remember that muscle weighs more than fat. So exercise, exercise, exercise is the name of the game for that one. And then just feed them like you would regular feed them. Don't give them any extra things. Like she said that some of her friends feed their goats cake mix, which I wouldn't suggest doing. That I could just see that being an issue with their rumen. So, I mean, if anybody has any questions or anything, this is what we're on tonight for. So, please go ahead and ask questions. We want to know what you guys want, what you guys think, and we'd like to help you out.
Hello,
Carlos,
from
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, yeah. Nice to have you.
Silver Pine Kiko Goats, thank you.
Emily. More people on here already than what we thought we'd have on here, so
Nice.
Glad to see you guys all come and join us tonight. Can you guys hear us and everything okay? Let us know in the comments.
Say anything, but anyway, I'm sure you saw the video out yesterday. We're getting ready to start kidding here on the 5th, so get ready for a bunch of baby videos. Those are always fun to do. Dog is driving me crazy. How many goats do we have total? Probably between 45 and 35 right now. I said we only have 3.5 acres, so we have to kind of rotate them out. I only like to keep 6 juniors every year, and then we kind of sell off some of the brood does that we've had for a while, just to get some different genetics. And
the puppies over here off to the side, if you guys hear something rustling in the background, that's what it is. I might have to end up putting her outside, so.
We have used gold dust. Thank you, Samuel, for asking that question. Yes, we have used gold dust. We don't use it consistently because what we do works good enough for us. I mean, if we were going to like major jackpot shows, yeah, we would probably use it more. But just for fair, we don't really think we need to, pound it in them.
And for our show does and stuff, it's not something that we really rely on, I guess, if you want to put it that way. Um, we do have gold dust out in the barn, but it's one of them things where we haven't used it that often. Know people that has had good results with it, but just not something that we use on a regular basis.
Yeah, if we were like going to nationals or something, we might start them on that like a month prior to nationals, just on the ones that we're taking. Um, and then, but to feed it regularly, not really. And that's only on ones that we think might need a little boost. Oh, good, Emily, thank you. I was wondering if anybody could hear us.
If you guys get a chance, go down and hit the thumbs up button. That helps YouTube in their algorithm, especially on these live streams. It's hard for them to rate if people are actually enjoying them and wanting to watch more of them. We're going to try to do this on a regular basis, probably once a month between now and spring. I know it's coming up quick. Because we don't have the videos that we can put out on a regular basis, because with it being cold up here in Michigan, it takes us more time and more effort to think about things that you guys want to see.
Yeah, bundling up is never any fun, especially when you're out there with no gloves on, trying to hold a camera. Your hand gets cold pretty quick.
And we do have a few videos lined up that we'll be releasing over the next couple of weeks. We've always used Noble Outfitters forks. It's not a sponsored video or nothing like that, but I called them a couple weeks ago because their forks have a 5-year warranty on pretty much all the parts and everything like that. Called them up and they send me all new parts for our broken forks. So we're going to show you guys about that here in the next week or so. Hopefully get it recorded here in the next few days.
Yeah, and then we also had someone ask us a while back if we could do a video on the difference between keeping percentage and full blood does. What do we prefer, or why we prefer it? We kind of over Christmas and New Year's it slipped our minds, and they asked us to do it again. So that will be released this week as well. So for that one, I've heard good things about the Kiko show circuit. Oh shoot, I wish I could remember his name. There's a guy that I'm friends with who raises Kikos, and he's always posting about Kiko goats. And I guess they have a pretty decent show circuit. Savannah's, I'm not sure about. I don't really know a whole lot about Savannah's. I'd love to get some, but I don't know if we ever will. But I mean, you just do it. You just go ahead and check it out. Take a few animals, see if you like it. I mean, that's what we did. That's the best thing I can suggest for that. A tire. We just use like a regular car tire, just a regular size car.
I think it's a
car
14-inch car
Yeah.
tire is what we use. These lights are bright up here if you guys can't tell, so that's why I had to go adjust that camera a little bit. It's not
and they can start out pulling that weight. It's not, you don't have to like start with a smaller size and move up. They can start right on that tire, so you don't have to like have different tires. Just use the one, and then you can add more weight onto it as you go if you think they need it.
Anybody got any other questions and stuff, let us know.
Any kidding questions? Because I know we're like right in the height of kidding season right now. It's next 2 weeks are like my break time.
Do we breed corgis? We have a full-blood male corgi, and we have a cowboy corgi, which is a corgi
and a
blue heeler cross. We're hoping to do some puppies next year. It all depends on how she ends up sizing out, because we've never really got into breeding dogs. Her parents used to breed dogs. Um, we used to know a few people that breed dogs, but we don't know if that's something we're gonna do
Long
or
term,
not,
yeah.
or if it's just gonna be a time to time kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of corgi breeders out there now, so don't know if we really need to be getting into that more than what there's already out there.
Yeah. But people seem to really like the dogs. So I mean, they're not bad dogs. Our male is a nice dog. Um, he's they're a little rambunctious, but they're super funny.
Scroll back here, see if I missed or anything anybody
I don't-
wanted to
I
know.
don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, we were hoping to make it to the Florida State Fair in February, but they postponed that to April. So I don't think we're gonna get to any shows until at least May. And we are more than likely going to be doing the Georgia Peach sale, which this year will be an online sale. When is that?
I think it's the first or second week of April. I guess they'll have more stuff out um, here in next week or so. Um, Emily asking about merch. We have merch on our website, clearcreekboardgoats.com. Go over there. They're in the shop tab. We have certain sizes, shirts, t-shirts right now. We've bought them back in the summer.
Depending on how those sell, we might get other things.
Or if we're putting an order in or something like that for other stuff. If you want something different, a t-shirt or a long sleeve t-shirt, or what is a long sleeve shirt, t-shirt style, I guess it is.
Maybe hoodies. Just
or
depends.
hoodies, let us know.
Yeah.
So we can try to get something ordered for you or whatever there is we have on the online there. So.
I basically plan my kiddings all year. I'm always thinking about who to match up to who. Sometimes I change my mind on to who gets bred to who 3 or 4 times because I look at each animal and go, oh, they'll cross well together. And then I look at them and go, oh, no, they won't. Oh, yeah, they will. No, they won't. So, I mean, it's just something that kind of revolves all year long. We generally start kidding in August, or not kidding, sorry, breeding in August. So that gives us January babies, and then we do the majority of our breeding in September, and then we do some in November for April because the way our barn is set up, we can only kid like 8 out at a time. So we have to split them off between two kidding groups, one early and then one late. I wish we could kid them all out at the same time, but unfortunately we don't have the space. So I have to pick which ones I think will make good wethers for the early group, and then the later group is more like show animals that can grow out later and be ready for the next show season in the spring. So hopefully that answered your question. I don't really like kidding in February and January because it's so cold, but in order to sell wethers for 4-H, which we do sell a lot of them, they're not going to be jackpot winners or anything like that, but they work really good for 4-H kids who just want to go out in the ring and show. We have to market them at least by March, so that's why we have to kid out so early.
And up here in Michigan and stuff, we have July, August fairs, most of them. Sometimes even into September, so that later March, April kids that are ready to go for 4-H and stuff are the best for us. If we lived in a different area, maybe we'd want to go earlier. If we live maybe later in some other areas.
Yeah, because most of our buck kids that we wether are weaning out at 50 to 60 pounds. So if you have an July or August fair, and they're weaning in, say, March or even April at 50, 60 pounds, by the time if you feed them right, by the time July and August come around, they're going to be 90, 85, 90 pounds. So we don't want to kid them out too early, or they're going to be too big to even show in the ring. We do anything. We usually start breeding the bucks at 8 or 9 months. We don't want to do it any earlier than that. Even though they are ready, they could breed earlier than that. We don't want to tire them out. We usually don't give first year breeding bucks more than like 8 does because they're young and they don't have the stamina that an older buck will have. So we're not going to overbreed them. And then the second year, if we're using them again, we'll give them more does to breed to.
Thank you for the super chat. Another thing about the bucks, just real quick, and with the bucks, if you're looking to buy a young buck, that 4 to 6 month old buck is what you could be looking at, especially if you're just getting started with your own bucks. So that you don't have to wait until they're 8 or 9 months and try to buy the 8 or 9 year or month old animal. Yeah. You can buy the animal that's a little bit younger because they're got everything you're looking for. And you can breed them to 8, 10 goats, but I wouldn't throw them on 8 to 10 right away. I'd split them up in a couple groups to get them where you need to be.
Yeah, and remember, if you're just starting out and you want to get a buck, a young one is a good one to get because the younger they are, the easier they are to handle. Generally, by 18 months to 2 years, they're getting almost too big to handle easily. Some of them have bad attitudes even by then. Most of the time, by the time they're 3, it's time to change them out because they've gotten so compliant that they're going to end up starting to destroy things. What were you going to add to that?
I was going to address the super chat. Mr. Cruz, if you're looking at dappled animals, make sure you take and emphasize on structure and quality. There's a lot of bad dapples out there. So Brooke can go in onto the dapple side of stuff.
Probably don't want to get me started on that.
She can rant on the dapple side, but so she'll talk a little bit more about that. But make sure you're getting quality animals, raise quality animals. You find what you like, but make sure you're raising quality because that's the end of the day. If you want to go compete in shows or you just want to raise good animals for pasture or for somebody to buy, you still want to have good quality animals. Yeah. So
there are good dappled animals out there. I'm not going to say there's not because I've seen some really nice ones. You just really have to watch what you're buying. Really study all different colors. Study traditional, study red, study all of them, and then go and study your dapples. So that way you can see what the structure you want is. And the other tip that I would give you is make sure that you're breeding your dapple does every other generation to a good traditional buck because he will give you that added structure. Because when you're only breeding for color, dapple to dapple to dapple to dapple to dapple over generations, your structure is going to shrink. You're going to get smaller animals. You're going to get less bone. So you want to get those different genetics. Even if they're not colored genetics, you want to get them in your herd to make sure that you keep up the structure and the mass.
Talking about percentages, we don't prefer percentage animals over full blood. We actually, when we're looking for animals, all we care about when it's all said and done with is structure. Make sure that they fit our program, and they're going to make us animals that are fitting our program and can go into somebody else's program. They could be full bloods or they could be percentages. Either way, they have to be able to fit into our program. There's some really good percentages out there. There's some really bad percentages out there. There's some really good full bloods, and there's some really bad full bloods. So you got to take and really think about what you're doing. I like to have a diversity of percentages compared to full bloods because I like to show, and that's why what we do is show.
Yeah, the dapples, the percentages just give us another division, I guess, to show in, and not just the full bloods. so that way we can show all day instead of just part of the day. But you just basically have to buy what you like. Don't settle for anything less just because it has a smaller price tag. That's what I'm going to say. There's a saying out there, good goats aren't cheap and cheap goats aren't good. And that is very, very relevant.
But it don't mean you can't find a good goat that's cheap either.
You just have to watch. Because some people at these sales, they don't pay attention. And a good goat will go through the ring. And nobody will bid on it because they're not paying attention. And you can get really good goats for good money if you know what you're looking for.
And so true, farm life, because just because it's a dapple don't mean it needs to stay a buck. Just because it's a dapple don't mean it's going to be a show doe either. So it's just the colors. There's a lot of people that like colors just to have them out in their pasture for some reason. I don't know.
If we get color, great. That's awesome because they're really cool to look at. But if we don't, oh well. We got, to me it doesn't really it doesn't define if the animal's good or not. Yes, our kids do 4-H. They don't really do jackpot shows. We're more into the breed thing, so we don't typically show them the jackpot shows. My oldest, who will be 15 in June, shows horses, goats, starter calves, and dairy beef in 4-H. And then the two youngest, who will be 8 and 7 in February, are in like we call it the branch buds, but like clover buds, and they do rabbits and chickens.
Emily, the reason why the first video, when we first started out this channel, we did a little bit of everything. And after talking to other people that do YouTube all the time, and we tried to do certain things on certain channels, and we were trying to do everything at once. And when you're trying to make people watch you because of like this, goats, but if I went and threw a canning video in there the next week, you're not going to be very happy if you're here for goats. You're not going to be happy that I'm putting canning videos in there. We do have another channel, Clear Creek Farmstead, but Brooke, I kind of set that over on Brooke, and she's not one that's really wants to be behind the camera that often. Even though that's usually our videos that get most of the views is when Brooke does videos. So maybe here this spring, and when she gets into her flowers more and canning again, maybe she'll post some stuff over there. We try to promote them both as much as possible when we do. When I get to making maple syrup, I will do some videos over there as well too. So hopefully that answered that question.
I would just suggest getting a mineral tub. Just let him lick on it whenever he wants. You don't really need vitamins before you get them collected. Just make sure they're clean. And what I mean by that, make sure they don't have any mites. Make sure their scrotum is clean and doesn't have any like crusty stuff from mites on it, because that will reduce their sperm count.
Yeah, and we've had a buck and stuff that we cleaned up and thought he was going to be good for collection. When we went and got him collected, basically it was less than, I think, 50% active sperm. So to be to put up and make it worth it and stuff, it's not good enough for that. So having a good clean animal for, I would say, 60 to 90 days prior to getting him collected is the best thing for that. There's some really good companies around, and there's more every day. We use B&D Genetics out of Arkansas. Good guy, good company, good family that runs that operation. So if you want some animal, and he's all over the country, so he travels. We're thinking about trying to get something set up here at our house this next fall. We haven't figured that all out yet. It's still some time out, so as soon as we know more, we'll be announcing that too as well.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Emily, we like answering questions, so keep bringing them.
Have we ever dealt with ORF? I think, and I don't know a lot about ORF, but to me, ORF is almost like um, sore mouth. Basically,
Yeah.
it's pretty much the same genetic kind of thing. We do deal with sore mouth from time to time. Um, and from what I know about ORF, from listening to a couple different other videos from some sheep farmers, um, ORF is basically the same thing. Once they get it once,
They
it
don't get
goes
it.
on.
I typically, I know people are probably gonna get backlash for this, but I typically encourage our juniors to get it after they're weaned. I don't like literally go in there and spread it on their mouth or anything, but if they get it, I'm okay with that because that means they get it and then they're done with it and they won't get it again. The one thing that the only thing I don't like about it is if you don't sanitize your barn before kidding. Sometimes the kids can get it when they're nursing and then they get it on the mom's udder and then it's terrible trying to get them to nurse. And udders get all tore up
And that's the biggest downfall that I could see that you'd have is getting an udder tore up. And usually by that time you're so far into that kid already nursing on its mom, you can't really take them off.
Bottle, yeah,
They're just going to end up being stunted from that period forward because of it.
until they start eating feed really well. But we haven't really ran into that a lot. I think maybe once or twice. We actually had it in the last babies that we just had out here. And I went in there and bleached the crap out of everything so this next round we wouldn't get any because I don't want to deal with that.
But I think that was more of the sore mouth than anything. But I'm not for sure exactly the differences between sore mouth and ORF. So
um, if it's on a bottle baby, it's fine. Just make sure that you either wash your hands really well after you feed it or wear gloves because it's you can get it too on your hands or on your mouth and it's not fun. It itches, it burns. So that's what I would suggest. It's okay. It will go away in 2 or 3 weeks. But just make sure that when you feed it, you're either washing your hands and sanitizing the nipples really well or wearing gloves.
I wouldn't get rid of goats just because they have that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a one-time thing and it lasts 2 or 3 weeks and then it's done.
yeah, it goes away, and once it's gone, it's gone. And I mean, I took and bought a goat last summer or fall, I think it was, and the guy goes, "Man, I was really mad that I was going to deliver this goat to you, and it had sore mouth and that." And I'm like, "Shoot, I'd rather have him have sore mouth already because then it's done and over with. It don't bother me not one bit."
And most of the time, in 99% of cases, sore mouth doesn't require any treatment. You just let it run its course, and then it's done. Thank you, Jim. Glad to hear that.
Yes, percentages goats down in southern Texas, and yeah, diseases and parasites is a big thing anywhere. The biggest thing you guys got to deal with down there is a lot of CL, stuff like that.
Well, I hate winter. I hate winter, but the one nice thing about winter is that it kills the parasites. It's not so prevalent up here because we have the freezing temperatures, unlike down south. You guys basically have to deal with it all year long. The one thing I would really suggest, though, make sure you're deworming your does at least 48 hours after kidding because they're going to carry those loads, and then because kidding is super stressful. So when they kid, the worms just explode in their stomach. So then 2 weeks after they kid, they have this huge worm load that they're really having a hard time controlling. So make sure that you deworm your does 2 weeks after kidding. That should help a lot.
Yeah, like I said and stuff, that's a big cost anywheres is taking care of that parasites. And if you're having problems with mites and it's out on a commercial herd or a percentage herd that you're not worrying about showing, that E-Pro that I've had some videos on works really good. Treat them like 3 weeks in a
lice,
row.
yeah,
And it's basically you spray it, drench it down their back,
yeah.
get it really good on them. And if it's on an area, spray it down really good. And it basically, over time, couple weeks or so, it'll start going away. If you got one that's really bad, just take and do it again until
this-
it's gone
Was this for lights or mites?
for mites.
Mites, yeah. Okay. It works really good for lice too. We use it every fall and spring for lice.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know that ORF is basically the same as sore mouth, because I've heard it referred to as two different ways. So it's nice to know that it's basically the same thing. And like we said, one and done. And it's usually, if you can get it where they get it after being weaned, it's even better. Then you don't have to worry about it again.
Silver pine, I would, if it's for free, why not? Take it. Just if you don't want your other goats to get it, especially if you have lactating does in your barn, just make sure you isolate it from everybody else until it's run its course. And like I said, make sure you wash your hands really good after you bottle feed it or wear gloves.
Yeah, I'd just quarantine it off by itself until it's gone, and then
Yeah.
free goat's a free goat.
Yeah.
I mean,
free is free, and if it doesn't turn out to be anything, you can always ship it off later.
and it's maybe you get some good kids out of it.
Yeah. Never know. I mean, some of our does that we've gotten the best kids off of have been the cheapest ones. So you never know.
And I want to thank everybody and stuff for coming in here and
that was nice.
joining in and stuff. I mean, we got 21 people watching now. It looks like.
Yeah. Way more than I thought. So yes.
I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, first time for us to do this, and it's super cool that you guys are coming and listen to what we got to say. And if you guys have any ideas that you guys want to see on videos or on live streams, I can't talk, but we're open to anything. We're here really and stuff to help everybody else. If we don't know what a problem or something like that, we'll go to somebody else that has had that problem or knows how to deal with it. If you're having issues with things that most breeders don't want to talk about, CL, some of the diseases that people are, oh my gosh, I don't want to, I can't tell nobody and stuff.
We're very transparent.
Yeah, we're transparent, but if you guys need help on that, we're more than willing to help. And what you guys tell us and stuff is not going from, it's only going me to you, and that's all. So if you guys need any information or help on how to treat things, we're here and open to do that. That's why we're in this industry, is to help people out. We're not into this industry to go out there and make a killing, and most likely we'll probably never have animals that will make them hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah.
It just, we have what we have. We've raised up what we do. We have good quality animals, but at the same time, we're not somewhere in the industry where we're selling $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 animals every day.
Yeah.
Do I have animals that I can sell if I need to make some quick cash? I do, but to be, I don't know what I was trying to say. Lost my train of thought.
But teats are another good subject actually to be on. We have does that have 4 teats, 2 on each side, well spaced apart, and I like those does best because they can feed lots of kids. Even if they're only feeding 2, let's say one teat gets a cut on it and she doesn't want, when the kid's nursing on that one, they can move to the next one and still get all the milk they need. The ABGA website, if you go on there, they have a teat chart which shows you what's correct, preferred, and DQ. I suggest studying that. We have does in the barn that are not show correct on their teat structures. However, we keep them because they throw clean teated kids. Now, if I have a doe that doesn't have clean teats and she throws kids with bad teats every time, she's out the door. But if she throws clean teats on all her kids, she stays because I don't care. She's not going to get shown, but she's a good brood doe, so there's no reason to get rid of her.
But at the same time, if she's producing us good kids, we're gonna see what them kids end up throwing before we end up sending her down the road, because she might not throw clean teated kids, but her kids might throw clean teated kids. So that's the thing you got to look at. It all depends on how much room you have and how much space you have. So that's one of them things where you got to take and decide what you're looking for. If you're raising 4-H animals or jackpot show animals, who cares what the teats are on them, really?
Yeah, and at 4-H it doesn't really matter because they're not judging teats anyway. So if you're just doing 4-H, I wouldn't even worry about teat structure, especially if it's a commercial animal, it's not registered. Don't even worry about it. Let's see. Wow, best weaning age. We wean all weathered buck kids at 8 weeks. Out the door, are gone. By that time, they're eating feed. They're driving their moms crazy, so they gotta go. Doe kids, we typically like to leave on till at least 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks, just to give them a little extra, even though they don't really need it. Usually by 6 weeks, they're eating feed good enough that they don't need their mom anymore. We don't wean at 6 weeks, even though we've been forced to a few times, and they do just fine. But I would suggest keeping all kids on till at least 8 weeks.
And I mean, if you got a doe that's don't mind her kids being on there, and she got some doe kids on there, or some wethers that you're planning on keeping around to raise out for yourself for wethers, let her stay unless she's getting ran down. I mean, if she's not kicking them off and she's letting them eat, let them eat. I mean, get that nutrition. I mean, it's already paid for nutrition, so let them have it.
Yeah, I just like to wean all my doe kids by 10 to 12 weeks because I like to have my does back up to a good breeding weight before putting them back in with the bucks. I don't like to breed them when they're too thin because then it takes them much longer to get back up to a good healthy weight. So I just like to give them a couple months off to gain back the weight that they lost during lactation.
Yes, there is some clinics out there for AIN. You might not like this answer, but I would rather people, I mean, you could go learn how to AI, but you're kind of wasting any semen you're using. Because a vaginal AI is, I think it's less than 25% chance. It's not that good. Pay the money, have a vet come out that knows what they're doing, and have them either do lap AI or something like that. If you have semen, you picked up some cheap semen, or you have a buck that you collected or whatever, and you just want to take the chance and do it, go ahead and do it. But you're better off to pay that money. You got a better chance to do it anyway. So that's what I would recommend on AIN. If you want to learn, find somebody that does it very good. A lot of dairy goat operations do a lot of AIN, and that's where I would be going to look if I was looking to do AI myself, because they do it all the time.
And really, the lap AI is the most cost-effective means for AI in goats. That's what I would recommend doing, is just to do a lap. Just take them somewhere and do a lap AI. And when you go to AI your goats, make sure they're not too fat, because if they're too fat, they're not gonna take.
Yes, diatomaceous earth works great on a lot of things. I know guys that actually feed it in their, or put some in with their feed, when in a commercial herd situation. Supposedly helps them. I don't know.
I've never really experienced anything.
Right, but we've had we use it from time to time on.
I basically use it for odor control.
Yes, basically odor control. People use it for mite control and stuff like that. It's basically the same.
Yeah. Ryan Crawford. I have to address his question. Yes, we've experienced that before. Actually, I have one in the barn right now that is similar. She's due on the 12th. Yes, it's all right if it comes out a little bit, but if they're like pushing and it's all coming out, then obviously no, that's not normal. Um, it means those babies are big, they're pushing on all that stuff, so it's just loose and coming out. Um, if she has the kids and starts pushing and doesn't stop pushing even after the kids are born, then your vet come out and they're gonna have to um, stitch it closed. Because if not, she'll obviously push it all out. But I would just watch her. I wouldn't worry too much about it at this point, especially if she's due. I think you said I can't read it, but if she's due soon,
Yeah, she's not pushing, so.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't worry about it.
Wow, we've already been streaming for 40 minutes.
That's gone fast.
It's been going pretty fast. So, thank you guys for all the questions and stuff. I mean, this is great. It's great to come and talk to you guys or I guess it's chat with you guys. So.
There was one more question. Quarantine, usually 30 days. Just 30 days for quarantine, and then they're good to go.
All right. Any other?
Emily, thank you.
Any other questions anybody have? We'll probably get ready here to jump off of here. If there ain't no other questions, if we didn't answer your question, please throw it back on there. Put it in caps. That would help us see it a little easier.
Yeah. See that we missed it.
If we missed it, because we want to answer anybody's questions that you guys have. So even if you've already had a few questions answered, go ahead, throw them on there. Thank you guys for the thumbs ups too. So that's pretty cool.
We'll let you know when we plan to do another one. Maybe like once a month or something.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna try to do is once a month. Is there any special time frame you guys would rather have something like this? Would it be good on Saturday nights, or would Sunday evenings be better for you? A time frame that works for you guys as well.
Yeah.
For us and stuff, I'm old back over the road, so I'm gone during the week. So everything around here relies on Brooke. So, I mean, if there's a certain time on the weekends that work for you guys, we'll see what we can do to get it. We'd like to be able to come on here and answer questions and stuff on a monthly basis.
Yeah. So any suggestions that you guys might have, just go ahead and leave it down here or on any of the other videos that we've put out.
We will leave the this live stream back up if you want to go back and watch it. So there you go, Jonathan. Thanks you for jumping on now. So yeah, just go back on. I'm gonna post this as it's a regular video. That's why I'm trying to keep it a reasonable amount of time. We don't want to go too long because then
Georgia Peach. It's online. I think we're gonna do both the spring and the fall sale.
The fall, the Music City sale.
Yeah, Music City, and then we do that one, and then the Georgia Peach.
Yeah, this year.
This one, and then there was one more question. Time zone. What time zone are we?
We're Eastern.
Eastern.
We're in Michigan, so we're on Eastern time zone.
Ideal age for breeding does. We don't start breeding until like 16 months. I mean, all depends on your preferences. We have had oopsies that were bred at 9 months, and they were fine. They were good mamas. They kidded out just fine, but they were definitely slower to grow and develop than their non-bred counterparts. So
I think the biggest thing with age-wise is what you're doing with them.
yeah.
If you got a commercial herd and all you care about is producing kids for meat or whatever you're producing them kids for, that 9 months to a year, you're good to go.
Yeah, if you're running a commercial herd, I don't see why you would have to wait much past 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running for show, I want to push them off as far as possible before we breed them, because we want to get them their mass and we want to get them big as possible, or not really big as possible. We want to give them all the growth that they can have for that 9 months to a year and a half, before we decide to burden them with them kids, because it does take away from them. I mean,
yeah, I mean, you think they're trying to grow themselves, plus babies in their bodies, plus milk. It takes so much out of them.
and yeah, we usually try to hold off as far as possible, and we try to take and show them as much in that time frame, because that will be
That's usually when you get most of your points. Is
right.
Like that yearling, the yearling year that you're showing them.
And then usually after that first kidding and stuff, you're pretty much a year before you're back in the show ring with them,
Yeah.
because it takes that 4 to 6 months for them to come back.
Come back after kidding, yeah.
So, if for us, if we had some ideal breeding for us for them younger does, we'd be kidding in, I'd say, September, October, so that way they can have that time period over winter to recoup,
so you can go
kid
back
and
in the
recoup, so we can
spring
start
or
showing them the next year.
spring, yeah.
But the biggest problem for us, we don't really have a market for that young, that earlier
The
kids.
weathers, yeah.
So we don't. That's why we do what we do.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys. We'll announce when we do this again.
Thank you guys for all coming along. We'll see you guys all on the next video. We're gonna
Yeah.
jump off of here.
Yep.
And have a great day. And thanks for coming. And thanks for all your input. And thanks for all the comments. And hopefully you guys keep on watching what we're doing. So.
Yep. God bless.
Thank you.
Did you end it?
No, I'm trying to figure out how.